Hour number 3 here on McElroy and Kubelik in the morning. Damian Mitchell, John Saybear here with you. It's always fun when Golden Domer chimes in. You never know where it's gonna go.
Yeah, dude, right to the toilet because he tries to set us up for something, and we're just like, no, man, like this ain't gonna go. You think it is? It's dunked on.
Oh man, it's always fun. 205-834-9450. Your text message, your calls, always welcome here. A lot of people giving you your flowers. Saybear putting Golden Domers in his place. Somebody said, "I love hearing Saybear putting Golden Domer in a logical figure 4."
I just like the fact that he pointed out on social media before. He was like, I'm glad you're back. We can finally, have someone I can intellectually spar with. So I'm like, okay, let's do that. And so what did he do yesterday? He tried to get you in a kilt. So I'm talking before. I was like, hey, man, I just find it interesting that you said you wanted to go tete-a-tete. And what'd you do? You went right to Damian. It's like, okay, that's fine. If you're scared, just say you're scared.
I'm telling you, man.
That's cool.
Somebody said first round knockout by Saybear. Domer isn't getting off the mat after that beating. Listen, when that PRP stat, I was just like, wait a minute, hold on. Jeremiah Love ain't in that backfield for Notre Dame. Not to say that, again, when you look at their schedule, hell, you better be 12-0.
Right, yeah.
You better be 12-0.
Yeah. If I was a committee member, Notre Dame's 11-1, I wouldn't put them in the playoff. Let me take that back. I'm sorry. They're 11-1 with the loss to Miami. Because, what else is there?
Right.
Now, granted, someone else in the ACC could jump up and be like, okay, you know what, that was actually a high-quality opponent that they beat. But I'll wait for you to pull up and look at their schedule. But it feels like last year it more or less was a two-game schedule, and they went 0-2.
Right.
And this year, actually, do they have SMU?
Yeah, they got SMU right before the last game of the season.
Okay, sorry. So it's a 1.5-game schedule. Oh, okay, all right.
So, and that's the thing, too. And what I was trying to get Domer to see was one of these, you could say that Alabama, they lucked in, the committee gave them the benefit of the doubt. They had, at that time, when you pull up their resumes against each other, they had a loss to Florida State to start the season.
Alabama had wins they could point to.
Exactly.
Notre Dame didn't.
Exactly. And that's where I'm like, okay, I understand what you're saying, but like I was going back to the playoff teams that you played Texas A&M. You had them at home. You lost to them. Texas A&M was a playoff team. Miami, you lost to them on the road. You win those games, we're not having a conversation. But
or one of them. You ain't got to win both.
Like I'm saying, you split. Yeah, you
win
split.
One. Honestly, you're probably in over Alabama, most likely.
And
at least with them, yeah.
Like you said, this year when you look at their schedule, Wisconsin, Rice, Michigan State, at Purdue, at North Carolina, Stanford, at BYU, bye week, Navy, Miami, Boston College, SMU, and Syracuse.
So really a 2 or
right,
maybe 1.5 game. SMU, if they do what people are thinking they're going to do, that should be a challenging game for them, but a game that they really probably should win too. But that one shouldn't give them as much grief and strife as the Miami game should.
You should blow out everybody not named BYU, Miami, SMU. Everybody else, you should mop the floor with them. And it can't be one of those close, like, skate by a Purdue or a North Carolina or a Stanford. Like, I get it. I get it from what Domer is saying, but, like, your schedule isn't helping you. If in the event we find yourself in another situation where you have 2 losses, like, you can't afford a loss. And if you do, it has to come to either BYU, Miami, or SMU. And then you have to win 2 of the others. Like, you have to. Because there's no room there's no room for Notre Dame to mess up.
Right. That's why I said, like, I would, if I'm on that committee, if they lose to Miami, even at 11-1, I'd be hard pressed to put them in because what have they shown me that they can do? Especially if you have, say, if you have a 9-3 Alabama and an 11-1 Miami. Judging by what we think is going to happen, Alabama seems like they would be the better team and at least have been more battle tested.
Yeah.
And worthy enough to be put in over a Notre Dame team that okay, yeah, they may have dominated and beat a whole bunch of other teams, but the one time and the 1.5 time that probably mattered, they didn't do it.
Yeah. I just people are making fun of Notre Dame's schedule. Somebody texts in and says, "I would hope Notre Dame whoop ass. Their hardest game is Coleman High School." Somebody saying like they better be undefeated. Somebody texts in, it's like they're playing a 1A schedule.
Oh, that feels mean.
Yeah, don't disrespect 1A. They don't listen. They're going to get by Maplesville High School. I tell you that.
Mark Freeman and Thompson looking at this like, what? Why can't I have this?
Oh my gosh! But yeah, somebody texts in and says, "Does Notre Dame automatically get in if they're 11-1 or 10-2?" I think that isn't that
they got to be in the top 12.
Top 12. Yeah, they have to be in the top 12.
If they're in the top 12, they are automatically in. Now that said, just because they're 11-1 doesn't mean that they can put people. I mean, committee can choose to rank. They don't have to put them there.
Right.
Now, most likely they will end up being there, but also the committee chooses the rankings. The committee doesn't choose the teams that are in.
Mm-hmm.
The committee could easily have them as a top 5 team, and then once conference championship rolls around, they could bump them to 13.
Yep.
It would look weird and probably not be the greatest overall, but they choose to do that.
Right. Somebody texts in and says, "Does IMG Academy give Notre Dame a game this year?" Let's go to the phone lines. Our buddy Bama Hater wants to talk to us this morning. What's happening?
What's going on, fellas? Y'all doing all right?
Man, can't complain about a thing, brother. It's Friday.
Man, let me jump on that top rope and DDT Golden Dome right quick. First of all, you got a revenge game. You got to come back through my cane, and you're not going to do that. We're going to whoop your butt again. And I don't really have respect for a football team or entity that gets a subsidy, as in a welfare package, to get into the playoffs. You guys have paid whoever you had to pay for a guaranteed playoff spot. I will have no respect for that team whatsoever. You're going to have to earn your way just like everybody else. I think that's kind of cowardly to even attempt to do that, but they got away with it. And let me talk about my opinion of the Tide. Alabama's always going to have talent. That is true, man. You can't deny that they're going to have talent. But I think they're going to have the same problem that they had last year. Ty Simpson didn't get ample enough playing time behind Miro. And those two quarterbacks that are down there now, they didn't get ample enough playing time behind Ty Simpson. Neither one of those guys have starting experience in the SEC. The O-line is going to be suspect. And you guys keep, not you guys, Bama fans that are around me, they keep harping on how good the defense is. Isn't this the same defense that just lost by almost 6 touchdowns to Indiana? Isn't this the same defense? We don't know what's going to happen. We all watch what happened at the end of last season. They lost 3 out of their last 6. And as I said, they got a subsidy from the playoff committee because they had just watched Alabama lose by 3 touchdowns and run for -3 yards against Georgia. And they still put them in as the lone wolf 3-loss team in the playoff. And I'm going to say it, and I'm going to let you guys go. No 3-loss team should be in the playoff because 3 out of 12 is 75%. And when I went to school, that was an average student. And that's all I have to say about that.
Okay. But the thing is, like, the reason why they had the 3rd loss is because they played in the conference championship game.
Yeah,
like
had an extra.
They had an extra game where a lot of
data
other
point, right? Yeah,
yeah, they had to.
Yeah,
I mean, it's okay. Like I get the argument, but all they did was just swap where Georgia and Alabama were because either one of those teams was going to win the SEC, so they just swapped spots.
Yeah.
But,
joke's on you. That's 77%. Yeah,
yeah.
In some places, that's a B. It rounds. Yeah, it rounds up.
It rounds up.
But also, if you're telling me that the no 3-loss team should be in, it should be 11-1, then the college football playoff is going to be littered with a couple Big 12 teams and G5 teams and
right.
I mean Pac-12's back, so we're gonna have maybe 1 or 2 teams out there. So if we're just going everything off record, not actually the quality teams that you face. It looks like our college football playoff will have most likely Indiana, Ohio State, Boise, maybe another team from the Pac-12.
Yeah, I just
Right, yeah. Navy, maybe. I mean, there'll be a team out of American probably goes 10-2.
right like
Tulane, probably something like that.
like I don't there I I don't know. It just baffles me. Like again, the only reason they had 3 losses is because they had to play that extra game in the conference championship
Right, yeah.
because they handled their business in the regular season. They only had 1 conference loss to Oklahoma, lost that by 2. Yeah, they got blown out by Florida State to start the season, and they responded in the way that they needed to moving forward. So it's a lot of like some of those teams that Alabama, I guess you'd say, jumped. They didn't have the luxury of playing an extra game to have a loss.
Right,
like,
yeah.
Their regular seasons were done. Alabama was still playing. Conference championships, to me, it's the same way with SMU a couple of years ago when they played Clemson. Are we going to punish them because they had to play an extra game, or are we rewarding them because of the fact that they handled their business in the regular season to have the opportunity to even play in that conference
By the way,
championship
they
game?
did punish them. They dropped them in the rankings.
Yeah.
They didn't just eliminate them from the college football playoff. Alabama was punished. They dropped in the rankings.
Right.
Both of those times, like they were punished for that.
Correct.
Because I mean, I guess I don't know if you could choose not to play the game, whatever. But a game like it's meaningful because it has consequences.
Mhm.
Had Alabama won, yeah, they would have jumped up quite a good bit. But they lost, and so yeah, there were consequences to that, and they felt that they had to go on the road to Oklahoma,
Right.
and
Won the game.
yeah, at that time, well, yeah, they won the game. But we don't have to necessarily be outcome focused. We just look at what actually happened before when the playoff committee set the standings, when set the rankings.
Yep.
Yeah, they were punished.
Exactly.
Ohio State was punished.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
Granted,
that's the
yeah,
thing.
they
like,
didn't drop all that much because it was still kind of obvious that, okay, like, yeah, we know that these are 2 of the top 5 teams, really top 4. So yeah, we're not gonna drop them all the way to 12 or 15 or because they lost that one game, but they were punished. They dropped in rankings.
Man, your text messages continue to roll in 205-834-9450. Somebody texts in and says the conference championship shouldn't affect the playoff record. Maybe if Notre Dame had a championship, they could have had another decent win and Bama wouldn't have gotten in. That's a good point.
Well, what they have last year, because let's be honest, it would have been ACC, so it would have been
It
Notre
would've
Dame
been
and Duke, or Notre Dame and Virginia. Like, would that really have? Now, I'm assuming Notre Dame would have won that game because any resistance they actually faced last year, they lost. So they might have lost that game. Remember, Miami wasn't good. Not that they're not good enough. Miami didn't make the ACC championship game last year. Miami wasn't in it. So let's just say by chance Notre Dame would have been in it. That one data point would have propelled you. And you know what? Seeing them battle Darian Mensah. Okay, yeah, that's what I needed to do. I needed to know that. Okay, now they're a playoff team because no.
Right.
Come on now.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. 205-834-9450. Your text message, your calls. Continuing on the other side. Keep it like right here on McElroy and Kubelik in the morning. 9:17 here on McElroy and Kubelik in the morning. Damian Mitchell, John Saber filling in for the guys. They'll be back on Monday, getting you set for college football season. Of course, fall camp going on around college football. And, man, yeah, listen, we're just having some fun. 205-834-9450 on this Friday. Got two calls from our legendary callers and Golden Domer and Bama Hater, and you just never know what to expect whenever you go to them. But I think it's fun because I do think that now as we getting closer and closer to the season, everybody's got that itch. We're just sitting here waiting on pins and needles. And now with camp just now opening up, you're not going to learn anything too much with these guys being in shorts and helmet. Like, it's not real. It's just getting back into the swing of things. Mostly it's just getting the schedule down. How much have you retained from spring? You're bringing in, some of the freshmen that are coming in. You're not going to know too much besides just basically it's just more of, can we line it up right now, run our base stuff, get it in, get it installed. Let's hit this thing rolling, see what we need to tweak, see what we need to work on. But when the pads get on, when the pads get to popping, I think Auburn might be in shells today. So that's just, shoulder pads up. So you're going to get a little action, get a little thump. I think it's beneficial for the offensive line. Now that, everybody stays upright, but at least you can kind of put your hat in hand placement of where you want to, hit, the zones or the powers and, your run schemes, duo and things like that. So you'll at least get some sort of simulated push. Like, you'll get some of that. There ain't gonna be no cut blocking going on, but I'm interested to see as we move along in spring, as far as, like the quarterback battle, how is it looking between Austin Mack and Keelan Russell? What's it been? Who's taking the first team reps? How are they splitting reps and things like that? Because everybody looks like an All-American on routes on air. At least ask any offensive coach, any quarterbacks coach, receivers coach, they'll tell you we need to be 100% with routes on air because there is no defense out there. Like, let's make the throws, let's make the routines, let's do it, let's get the timing down. Ain't no defense out there. You should be 100%. Like my receivers coach, Coach Piercy, like, I don't want to see a ball hit the ground. It shouldn't. It better be a bad throw from the quarterback, but if it hits our hands, it's ours. That's how it's supposed to be because you need those reps early on, just getting acquainted. How do you want this slant run? How do you want these things? You're getting these quarterback reps of, all right, this is how Cedarian Morgan runs his slant. This is how he runs, his jailbreak screen, or, this is how it go ball. This is what I'm thinking. You're getting those reps and kind of piecing it all out. But again, you're not going to know anything until the pads get on and popping. So not too much. I think you'll probably hear like some names because you heard Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb. They talked about, E.J. Crowell, freshman running back out of Jackson High School, how he's looked early on because we didn't get a chance to see him in the spring. But he's been able to go out in fall camp, and they said they've seen glimpses of what he looked like in high school of, just explosive. Could he be that bell cow for Alabama and shoring up some of these things in the run game? I think when we look at both Auburn and Alabama, as far as some of the things I want to learn about both of these teams, for me personally, I think we'll start on the Auburn side of things. Everybody is looking at Byron Brown because of just what he was able to do at South Florida. But I'm looking at a lot of the pieces. Like, I'm looking at, hey, can Jeremiah Cobb in a new system, can he get to 1,000 yards? Is he, he's put on some weight. He knows what it takes now to be that every down back. But you have a bevy of backs back there. I think, the pecking order is going to start with him. And when he needs a breather, you put in an Omar Mapson or a Davenport or a Bryson Washington. Like, you have depth there. And also at the receiver position because of, we know the freeze five that everybody was talking about, freshmen coming in a couple seasons ago. Well, they're gone. Who is Byron Brown going to throw it to? Is it the same guys that he had at South Florida with, the development of Chaz Nimrod, who's been in the Alex Golesh system for years now? Singleton, who joined him, the big outside receiver, Koger. You got, we even hear a name, Deshaun Spencer, who was a spring game MVP this past season. So you're seeing a lot of just the pieces around Byron Brown that can get him to replicate that 3,000-yard passing and 1,000-yard rushing season. And I think defensively it's just, can Auburn maintain what they did last year? And going back to Domer's PRP metric, it's proven that Auburn's defense was They could hang their hat on that.
Absolutely, yes.
They can hang their hat on that.
Except for one game, but yes.
Yeah. Can they do that? Can they replicate that? Is it proven enough? Is there enough data from 12 games last year to have me feel in some sort of confidence for Auburn defensively? DeMarcus Riddick has been a name in that linebacking core the past couple seasons. It seems as though he looked like he's healthy. He's moving around. He's flying around. We know what we're going to get from Xavier Atkins. He a dude. He's one of those bona fides that I know for a fact when 17 is out there defensively for Auburn, he's going to make plays. You saw Jared Smith in the spring really start to stand out. Can he continue that during fall camp, setting the edge of – because you're going to miss Keiron Crawford and also Keldrick Falk, who both, go into the NFL, who are going to be some of those guys that can book in there on the defensive line. And then the secondary, you got Champ Anthony, you got Sylvester Smith. Who hitting people now?
About time.
Yeah, like he's laying lumber. It's not business decisions being made anymore. But you got some experience in key places defensively, and that's why I say when Auburn's schedule, and we went through it the other day. It's challenging, but also I think we're going to learn a lot about Auburn out the gate. Like I'm under the impression that DJ Lagway is still the DJ Lagway he was at Florida. I don't look at him as like being the savior at Baylor. I think you handle your business with them, handle your business with Southern Miss. That Florida game is going to be – there are going to be questions answered on both sides. From Florida, you've got Jaden Baugh, you've got all these bevy of receivers, and you hopefully whoever you have at quarterback realizes I don't have to do too much. I just got to get these dudes the ball. They got it. Defensively, you've got some really good pieces on the defensive side for Florida, but that goes into the Auburn goes back to the Auburn thing. Has that offense looked well on the first 2 wins in the season? Have they done what they've needed to do? Are we getting the full experience of Byron Brown? Because I do think that if he plays the way that he is capable of, or he's shown at South Florida, then Auburn fans, you've got to feel good about that Florida matchup. It's just, okay, this defense, what's going to be that ultimate equalizer? Is it going to be, third down defensively when you ramp up some pressure on either Tramel Jones or Aaron Philo? Is your secondary able to hold up against that Florida receivers? Are you going to be able to slow down a little bit of Jaden Baugh in that run game? So I think for Auburn, for the provenness on the defensive side, I feel confident that DJ Durkin has got that side of the ball shored up, and you're returning some key experienced guys that were forced to play a little bit more than probably they were expected last year. Now you're doubling down on, retaining that information and knowing what to expect week in and week out. Now you look on the Alabama side, offensive line. You can have a quarterback named, but can you protect him? Can you take some pressure off of them because you're able to run the football? It starts with the offensive line. Do you have 5 guys from tackle to tackle that you can lean on? And like I spoke about, ad nauseum last year, it's when you're in that 4-minute offense where you've got a 4 to 7 point lead, can you finish these games without having to put your quarterback in situations where they're going to have to pick up, you find yourself in a 3rd and 9 with about 2 minutes and some change, and man, it's tough because there's only so many plays. Can that defense ramp up pressure on you and make make a young quarterback make a quick decision? Or we can lean on this run game and saying, hey, we can put this game away. We can put the nail in the coffin because of the fact that our offensive line is saying, hey, run inside zone right now. Don't tag an RPO with it. Let's run this down this team's throat, and let's finish this ball game.
It feels like it feels like Auburn has, instead of the PRPs or whatever dumb crap he wanted us to call and look at it, it should be an SEO, a should carry over.
Mm-hmm.
Not a proven repeatability. Okay, yeah, it has been proven, but that doesn't mean that it will carry over all the time. Some teams, some programs, some players, and some things that we've gotten over the last little bit, they haven't earned the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ohio State right now, with being not number 1, definitely top 10, probably top 2 or 3, and definitely in 3, but being up there at the rankings, we're willing to give them benefit of doubt that, okay, And yes, I know Jeremiah Smith is out there, but it's like, oh, we don't quite know what they got a quarterback. But okay, yeah, fine. But we're willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. Who's going to be the defensive guy that's going to step up because they kind of had a good number of people taken in the draft. But we know it's Ohio State. They have that. We can give them the benefit of the doubt for that.
Yeah.
But with Auburn and maybe even with Notre Dame's running game, I mean, okay, yeah, they were phenomenal last year, and it seemed like they had the pieces, so it should carry over. Auburn's defense last year should carry over to this year. But just like last year, you're telling me you got Lenore Sellers and Dylan Stewart on the Oh, yeah, that's proven repeatable. And what happened?
Yep.
It should carry over. It unfortunately didn't.
That is a great point.
So right now, with a lot of these things that look like, that we're almost just putting in and not even in ink, like we're ready to chisel in, a lot of these should carry over. Clemson, with dipping into the portal last year and bringing Klubnik back, all that should have carried over. It didn't.
Yep.
So just because something is proven and repeatable doesn't mean that it always will carry over. And some teams just don't have the benefit of the doubt to where we can chisel them in. But for Auburn right now, a lot of those things should carry over. For Alabama, they understandably have a good number of question marks. And there are some things that should carry over as well.
Yep.
But I think right now there are a lot more question marks than things that we are going to put in that should carry over, or at least we have faith that, oh, yeah, they should be good in this.
Absolutely, man. You brought up some great points, especially on that South Carolina one where it's that's what happens when you set expectations. It's Shane Beamer found out he had a hidden gem with Lenore Sellers and Dylan Stewart. Well, we knew what Dylan Stewart was. And then this past season, those two are still the same, but the team is worse. That should have carried over from 2024.
Correct.
It's
right. Yeah.
My God, if you can figure it out. And again, maybe that's why you hire Kendall Browse that unlocks the fullness of what Lenore Sellers could potentially be. And Dylan Stewart, I mean, it wasn't because of him. He was doing pretty much everything he was doing in 2024. It's like
they gave Alabama everything that they wanted. Yes,
absolutely. And who knows, man? That's what's so exciting about getting to the college football season. We're only 22 days away from week 0 and 29 days away from Alabama and Auburn.
And what's actually crazy is we're 3 months out from what could be one of the greatest Saturdays in history.
October 17th?
No, November 7th.
November 7th
with Oregon, Ohio State, Miami, Notre Dame. They're basically their one important game this year. Alabama, LSU, Georgia, Ole Miss, and BYU, Utah. All that's 3 months from today.
Man.
Yep.
Can't get here fast enough. We're going to take a little bit of a detour. Greg brought this up yesterday, but we didn't get a chance to get to it. But we're going to have some fun here when we return on Mac and Cube in the morning. Ryan McGee on ESPN.com, he ranked college football's greatest supervillains of all time. We'll give you the top 10 of that and have some fun on the other side and get some of your reaction. 205-834-9450. Keep it locked right here on Mac and Cube in the morning. 9:34 here on McElroy and Kubelik in the morning. Damian and John in for the guys. They'll be back with you on Monday. We're going to go over the interesting article from Ryan McGee on ESPN.com where he ranked college football's greatest supervillains of all time. I think this would be a pretty fun, but let me tell you what's not fun. That's the Alabama heat and humidity, because it can be absolutely brutal, but don't let it affect your home and family. Keep them comfortable with an affordable Trane cooling system. Recognized as America's most trusted brand 12 consecutive years. You can rely on a Trane. Find a comfort specialist near you at Trane.com. So, ranking the college football's greatest supervillains of all time from ESPN's Ryan McGee. Coming in at number 10, he has Caleb Williams. And
Yeesh, already?
Right. He talked about, there's no shortage of recent Heisman winners and contenders who could have taken this spot. But Williams' story was a perfect storm of what everyone loves to hate about modern college football. He hit the transfer portal to move from Oklahoma to USC to follow head coach Lincoln Riley. He made what was then a record stack of NIL cash and starred in national TV ads during his own games when that was still something we'd never seen before. He won the Heisman Trophy in 22, and when USC was eliminated from title contention in 2023, he cried in his mother's arms. And people loathed him so much, they made fun of him over it. But he also didn't and still doesn't shy away from leaning into the mean side of social media, nor has he ever apologized for relishing his bad guy role. I don't know if Caleb Williams was ever really hated, or at least I did. Maybe I just didn't care enough.
I don't know if he was hated. I think people were more.
Was he like the poster?
Jealous? Yeah, but it was more of this guy.
And he has to be good.
They hated what he was doing. Maybe not necessarily him, but because especially around here, how often. Yeah, they weren't really playing. Yeah. When he left and went to the West Coast, okay, well, we ain't going to see you all that much. So.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. Apparently, we kind of like it when someone's losing and they're crying. Yeah, we apparently in the South are just going to revel in it. Yeah. So I okay.
Yeah, he comes in at number 10. Number 9, Deion Sanders. Says Deion Sanders is the only member of this list who has enjoyed two distinctly different villain eras.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Prime time at Florida State 4 decades ago, and Coach Prime in Colorado here and now. I know what I speak when I speak here because I was at Clemson's Death Valley in 1988 when number two stood at the bottom of the hill taunting the Tigers as they ran down from Howard's Rock. He didn't just relish in the boos from the rain-soaked 80,000 fans in attendance. He bathed in them. He then proceeded to talk smack to both Clemson bench and head coach Danny Ford. Then he snagged a punt return 75 yards for a touchdown. Fast forward to 2023 when Sanders moved from Jackson State to become Boss Buffalo. If anyone thought he was as divisive as a pre-internet player, he damn near broke the internet every Saturday as Colorado won a lot early, which meant he celebrated, then lost a lot late, which even more celebrated. And just like that day in Clemson nearly 4 decades ago, he has relished that role too. Yeah, I think that's fair.
No, it's fascinating looking at this now because, Deion was playing in my era, so, and also he wasn't playing against teams that I liked, so I enjoyed that. I liked that. And so some of this is fascinating because there are going to be a few on this list that, people will hate. Yeah. But also seeing how other people viewed him as a villain was I actually kind of like it. I thought it was fun. I think it was cool.
Coming in at number 8, Florida quarterback Tim Tebow. Tebow is the only member on this list that would also be included if we were ranking the all-time college football good guys.
Oh, yeah, he would, yeah.
Maybe that's why so many dislike the man. I like to refer to him as Swamp Hulk because he is such a good guy, and he's always unapologetically worn that title on his very large shoulders. Very few quarterbacks have arrived at college football's highest level with a higher amount of hype than number 15 did in 2006. The moment he stepped on campus in Gainesville, he divided the Florida faithful between those who wanted him to start immediately and those who recognized the team was winning plenty, also in winning a national title with Chris Leak behind center. Mm-hmm. Tebow's cult following became so large so fast that many simply became exhausted of hearing about him. That was especially true in the press box, where Tebow fatigue likely cost him a chance to become just a second two-time Heisman Trophy winner. And if you're wondering if that perhaps I should have ranked him higher on this list, please keep in mind I travel with Tim every weekend during the fall with SEC Nation, and I don't want him to throw me into a swamp.
There's a reason, right? Yeah.
But no, I agree. Tim Tebow, during that time, you either loved him or hated him, because he was there all the time.
I think, here's a different type of villainy, because like he was so good, and more so he was so polarizing, and he was covered a lot.
Yeah.
So much so that here, I would say a little over 20, right at 20 years or so ago, when noted person, however you feel about whatever, Clay Travis asked an infamous question, and like that was the takeaway of media days that day. And now Clay's out here basically doing the same thing, but for different reasons and different
facts,
different things. But with Tebow, it was, and most everyone around here didn't like him because he was on the other sideline.
Yep.
And again, everyone was happy when he cried, because they actually finally beat him and were able to actually topple the giant. But
so y'all need to thank Greg McElroy.
Yep. Well, I don't know if he was the one. I mean, it was really kind of,
he helped.
Yeah. But it's you can make a really good argument that he had probably the best college football career of any player, of any true a full 4 years.
Yeah.
You can make the argument he very well may have had the best one.
For sure. Oh, coming in at number 7, the 4-letter network, ESPN.
Ooh, okay.
Again,
wow.
This is
so he wasn't afraid to.
Yeah.
He didn't want to put Tebow higher, but he put his paycheck. Ooh, all right, Ryan.
Yeah, this is Ryan McGee ranking college football's greatest supervillains of all time.
He's kind of not wrong in this, because I have a feeling what he's going to say.
Yeah, at number 7, he has ESPN. He says, perhaps you've heard we hate your team. It doesn't matter which team that is.
That is true, yeah.
We hate them all. I'm not supposed to tell y'all this, but we have meetings every week just to come up with ways to belittle and insult your favorite team. That's a lot of meetings, because there are a lot of teams. But this must be true, because social media tells you that it is every single Saturday of the season. I've worked at ESPN for so long that in 1997, I had rocks thrown at me in Knoxville because I was wearing an ESPN jacket as a young television producer there to cover Peyton Manning's last home game. And I just graduated from Tennessee a few years earlier. Why did the Vol faithful hate ESPN? They blamed the worldwide leader in sports for his supposed Big Ten bias, which would ultimately cost Manning the Heisman Trophy and hand it to Michigan's Charles Woodson. Then, several decades later, I had a Crown Royal bottle thrown at me in Columbus because, again, I was wearing an ESPN jacket. Why? Because Buckeyes fans believed our SEC bias was the reason I was there to write a story about Urban Meyer's paid administrative leave. See, we hate your team. All of them. It's totally true. Well, I know Domer. Domer's like, yep, he told you, ESPN, that SEC bias. Well, at one point in time, it wasn't like that.
Yeah, correct, right.
So maybe the Big 12 may enter the chat and everybody's going to say it's Big 12 bias.
Right, yeah.
Coming in at number 6, speaking of Domer, Notre Dame. I can't make this up. The first 3 words of this write-up, the Golden Domers. The Golden Domers have always gone about their business by following their unique road, and as a result, everyone on the main non-Irish highway has always resented them for it. From their continued life as a non-conference football independent that still plays sort of an ACC schedule to having their own personal television contract for the last few decades and their continued status as a lone wolf in college football playoff selection room, Notre Dame has long wielded exclusive powers. And as much as the Irish fan base has relished that role, all other fan bases hate them for it. For the Fighting Irish to circle the wagon's life is nothing new. A century ago, wow.
Mm-hmm.
The Ku Klux Klan identified South Bend as headquarters for the insurgent Roman Catholics seeking to undermine the American way. Newt Rockne and his team responded by winning the first of the program's 11 national championships. Whether it's screaming Rudy was offsides, these guys don't deserve to be in a national title game. What is meant to hurt Notre Dame's feelings instead always ends up as fuel for the Irish next football fire. Wow.
And then they quit last season. Because, they didn't get what they want. So, like he said, they have amassed a lot of power.
Yeah.
And not unlike Eric Cartman, when they don't get his way, they screw you guys, I'm going home. And they have a tantrum.
Oh, man. Coming in at number 5, ranking college football supervillains of all time, he has the 1990 Miami Hurricanes. I remember this from the U. There have been plenty of college football counterculture teams over the last 156 years, and in high holy days of the U, every squad bucked at the college football system. But the only team completely rewrote the rule book in one afternoon. The defending national champions opened the 1990 season by suffering a stunning loss to BYU.
Yeah.
But their only other blemish on the schedule,
the aforementioned
was
Notre
a
Dame.
midseason loss at Notre Dame in the
Mhm.
Catholics versus Convicts 2. The Canes believed they deserved a chance to win the Natty in their home Orange Bowl, but were instead sent to face a third-ranked Texas in the Cotton Bowl. They beat the Longhorns 46-3
Beat the brakes off them.
and spent their New Year's Day in Big D punctuating every big play with pointing, taunting, and more dancing than you've seen on an episode of Solid Gold. Miami set team and Cotton Bowl records with 15 penalties for 202 yards. Most of the flags for unsportsmanlike conduct. In the short term, sports columnists, commentators, and fans around the country call for Coach Dennis Erickson to be suspended or fired, and presented the 1990 Hurricanes team as an embodiment of everything wrong with modern college football. In the long term, this game ultimately inspired the NCAA to institute 15-yard penalties for excessive celebration. I love that. Coming in at number 4, the Boz. The days you might know Brian Bosworth as Barry Switzer's de facto escort as the men's College World Series or the sheriff of Fansville, but in the 1980s, the Boz was college football's most polarizing figure. The All-America Oklahoma linebacker wore a mohawk haircut fashioned with razor-lined sides, all garnished with a do-rag. And who could forget this homemade T-shirt that turned NCAA into the acronym National Communists Against Athletes and added "Welcome to Russia." These days, that would make him a folk hero, but in those days, bucking the system wasn't seen as such a heroic effort. Folks just thought he was a jerk, and it resulted in dismissal from the Sooners. The Boz did not care. The reason he was on the sideline in that shirt in the 1987 Orange Bowl was because the NCAA, he had a failed NCAA steroid test. Had NIL existed 40 years ago, Bosworth would have been able to buy a ranch and sell all the NCAA T-shirts he wanted. That is 100% fact.
Yeah, very true. Yep.
Absolutely. We'll
now
continue.
he's in Fansville.
Yeah, he's well liked now. Like that's like,
Yep.
oh,
All it takes is time.
yeah, that's all. It heals all wounds. On the other side, I'll give you the top 3 of the college football's greatest supervillains of all time by Ryan McGee. Keep it locked right here on McElroy and Kubelik in the morning. 9:49 here on McElroy and Kubelik in the morning. Damian and John here with you for a few more moments as we get you set for a three-man front coming up at the top of the hour. Before we get to the top three of ranking college football's greatest supervillains of all time from my buddy Ryan McGee there at ESPN.com. Got to tell you about our friends at TD's.
Absolutely. TD's is your place for over 200 brands of furniture for every room in the home, including over 300 pieces of flex steel. They have 100,000 square feet of beautiful furniture with guaranteed lowest prices. Remember, TD's is your place for over 200 brands of furniture for every room in the home, including over 300 pieces of flex steel. They have 100,000 square feet of beautiful furniture with guaranteed lowest prices. That's TD's Fine Furniture in Summerton.
All right, coming in at number 3 of college football's greatest supervillains of all time by our buddy Ryan McGee at ESPN.com. He has Texas A&M legend Johnny Manziel. He says, is it a coincidence that television and movies became obsessed with anti-heroes like Walker White and Kenny Powers at the exact same time Manziel was beating Alabama, throwing up making money sign, and winning the Heisman Trophy? Maybe, but maybe not. Johnny Football rose to power as the app formerly known as Twitter was at the height of its powers. At the same time, that power was finding him in nightclubs when he was supposed to be working out the summer after winning the Heisman, with him posting at 1:48 a.m. BS like tonight is the reason why I can't wait to leave College Station, whenever it may be. After becoming the first Heisman freshman, the first freshman to win the Stiff Arm Trophy, then Texas A&M Athletic Director Eric Hyman said to Manziel and his parents, "You're not a freshman, you're not a sophomore, you're a Heisman." And he was correct. To many, the lasting image of Mr. Football will be that of him holding the Roman candle in his mouth, drinking Dom Perignon, and flexing a Dallas nightclub after winning the Cotton Bowl when he was just 20. In 2026, that might be considered cute. In 2013, it was the lead story on TMZ.
So much so that at SEC Media Days, when he, according to reports, just overslept at the Manning Passing Academy, and I guess was sent home and didn't make it, whatever. He had to sit down with Dari Noka, and that led, again, it's Media Day, so if we find something, we going to jump on it.
Facts.
So, yeah, that was, I remember having to play that audio and get all that. So, yeah, that was a wild time.
Man, whew, it's crazy. Coming in at number 2, Lane Kiffin. The Lane train is worse at breaking up than Pete Davidson. But he also can't quit doing it. If you want to spend an uncomfortable hour, watch Al Davis, I fired Lane Kiffin from the Raiders news conference.
Oh, my. Man.
Yeah, that was weird.
Dude brought out the projector.
Yeah, it's weird. At Tennessee, prospective students are shown Neyland Stadium, Aries Hall, and the giant rock on campus where it painted F. Lane Kiffin the night he bolted Knoxville for USC. He was fired from USC on the LAX tarmac. He was told by Nick Saban to go on and leave for Florida Atlantic instead of coaching in the national championship game because he was too distracted. And even after working so hard on changing how people viewed him, he couldn't help himself last fall when he exited Ole Miss for that Magnolia Bowl rival LSU. And in the middle of what he continued to portray as an excruciatingly painful decision, he dropped a reference to segregation in a Vanity Fair interview when comparing his new gig to his old one. When LSU visits Ole Miss the night of week 3, it's going to be all the worst parts of Old Testament. But instead of raining fireballs from heaven, it will be pouring fireball out of airplane bottles.
You think some of this has to do with the fact that Marty's boy had to wait 18 hours?
Oh, yeah.
To get that interview. Just out there. Yeah. Looking like Greg Popovich in the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's not wrong about that. I mean, yeah, and I think maybe some of this is recency bias because he did this whatever last year, because I'd like to think if this list were written 8, 9, whatever months ago before he potentially went to the other, I think he's on the list, but he's
probably like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe an honorable mention, but yeah.
Coming in at number 1 in Ryan McGee's college football supervillain of all time, Steve Spurrier.
Yeah.
He says the head ball coach walked so the Lane train could run. If you are a young college football fan, then you remember the Spurrier is the folksy grandpa telling jokes at celebrity golf tournaments and touchdown club meetings. Back in the day, the head ball coach was the visor, as a hat-slinging, trash-talking, strut-walking winning machine who tossed the ball all over the yard as both a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback and a national championship winning coach. And after humiliating you on the field, he will pour verbal salt into your wounds. This is the guy who called Florida State Free Shoes University after it was revealed that agents were giving Florida State players after-hour shopping sprees at Foot Locker. But he didn't stop there, not by a long shot. He took aim at Tennessee, a school he held an internal grudge against because he was from there and didn't think the Vols had properly pursued him in recruiting, saying you can't spell citrus without UT. At the time, the Citrus Bowl was the postseason destination of SEC's third-place team, and let's not sleep on his stint at South Carolina, where he routinely took photos with fans holding up 5 fingers because his Gamecocks once defeated arch-rival Clemson 5 years in a row. Says former Spurrier coach, quarterback turned TV host Jesse Palmer, there's no greater example of history of college football of the guy that if he was your coach, you love him forever, but if he was not your coach, you hate him forever. Then again, Spurrier angered Florida fans by taking the South Carolina job, then angered Gamecocks fans when he quit that job in the middle of a bad season.
Yep.
So even those who loved him, or at least for a time giving him the middle finger, it doesn't get much more villainous than that. So that wraps up ESPN's Ryan McGee's top college football supervillains of all time. And just the dishonorable mentions. Baker Mayfield, Diego Pavia, Vontez Perfect, Connor Stallions, the NCAA, Hugh Freeze,
that's true,
Phil Fulmer, Ryan Leaf, Jameis Winston,
of course,
and Maurice Claret.
The
NCAA, because he was that good as a freshman. He was like, yo, I can go to the league right now. Instead, it was like, nah, you still have to abide by these rules.
And oh well.
But he is spot on a lot of these.
Yeah.
I would probably throw Cam Newton in there, especially.
Yeah.
But, man,
given all that controversy,
Yeah, absolutely, man. We appreciate everybody hopping along with us on this Friday. Hope everybody has a safe and sound and fun weekend because